And I know this, our guys are in good spirits and they believe in what we're doing.
I didn't get a chance to ask you this question last week, but being that it was a homecoming for you to get to Washington last week, but you're from the southern part of the state, which is actually closer to Portland. I was just curious, did you grow up a Blazers fan or a Sonics fan, and who was your guy on either of those teams that you rooted for growing up?
Oh, wow, definitely a Blazer fan. We had season tickets for a lot of years growing up. We were only 45 minutes, door to door to the big city. So, the big city for us was Portland, the closest one. So, yeah, listen, all those teams. You can go back to, Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Terry Porter, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, on through. Then when Danny Ainge came and Petrovic and Sabonis, Cliff Robinson. All of them. We were huge Blazer fans, and I remember, being on the West Coast when they would go on a East Coast swing. We had Blazer cable or whatever. That was kind of how we got their games, and sitting with a TV tray, at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, eating dinner, watching the Blazers. That's what we did. So we were big Blazer fans growing up.
So, Calvin, obviously we haven't had a chance to get your thoughts on what you heard there from the head coach in terms of the way that the final 8 minutes of that game went down. But Tommy's explanation there was, hey, we've been closing with a certain lineup, and that's the lineup, obviously, that includes Henry Vesar out there along with Caleb Love and KJ Lewis and Jaden Bradley, and I think you can alternate between whether that fifth guy is Anthony Delorso or Carter Bryant, but they've been kind of going. And I'd have to, like I said yesterday, I'd have to go back and really look at the tape to find out. I haven't been really looking at the rotations as much down the line, but hey, if that's what he's been using at the end of games, then it makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah, no, definitely. Once he said it, I thought about it, and I said, you know what, that is exactly what he had been doing, because that group with Carter Bryant out there, more so than Del Orso, is a more defensive team that also can bring scoring and that can shoot from the outside, and good passers as well with that group. So real interchangeable as far as switching on defense or whatnot. So I could totally understand why Coach goes with that group at that time, because, again, just very interchangeable.
Yeah, and going back to a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, and this was something that J-Dub and I kind of talked about earlier, is we've seen when Henry's out there also, they can run some different actions to get Caleb shots, which, we saw it in the Akron game. They ran a lot of low post pick and roll, which led to couple baskets, a dunk for Henry on a feedback by Caleb, a pull-up mid-range jumper by Caleb, and then they were running a lot of that double handoff off the top as well, and I think Caleb scored like 10 straight points down the stretch. Got the dunk at the rim on Nate Biddle and hit a couple of three-pointers coming off those double high screen and rolls. So it seems like, anyway, from the offensive side of it, for sure, that they've got some different opportunities and different schemes that they can run when they've got Henry in there versus Toby Awaka.
Yeah, when you got Henry and Carter in there, the defense has to be more. They're more of a threat on offense, so the defense has to be on high alert when those guys are popping or when they're rolling, because the athleticism that they show in catching lobs or pick and pop, they're just dangerous. You don't really see a lot of that out of a Walker in the pick and roll. Even in the pick and roll where they catch it at the free throw line and they make the next pass, they're just dangerous offensively. So it opens up the guards to be able to do more things. Also, man, I loved when Coach went to that set where he was running plays, running that one play to Caleb Love. You see how effective one play could be?
Yeah.
As far as
they kept running it.
And getting your team. Yeah. So that's all I've been calling for. Yes, I love the free flow, and you need that. Majority of the game should be free flow. But there comes a point in time where you need to make sure that your guys got the ball in their strong hand, getting to their spot.
And even though Tommy Lloyd kept Toby Awaka on the bench for 8 minutes at the end of the game, he absolutely raved about his big man after the win.
And this dude, I'm telling you, he's a badass, and I love him to death. You've never met a bigger gentleman in your life. He's a 4.0 student. I mean, I think, right?
No,
Yeah, it's close, but I mean, does everything in his life, anything's associated with his name, is done with quality and class. And you might not know that by the way he plays because he's rugged and he kicks ass out there, but this is one of the best human beings I've ever met.
We got to find out what book Toby Awaka is reading right now, because he is a ferocious reader. That is for sure. Our Martinet, he is covering the Arizona Wildcats this week in New Jersey. New York City-based sports reporter caught up with Toby Awaka ahead of tonight's game.
You're as close to a local as this team has. So what does it mean to you to be able to play in such a big game in almost your backyard?
I mean, it means a lot, but it's not really something I'm paying too much attention to. I'm just really focused on the task at hand, which is Duke. Honestly, we could be playing in Alaska for all I care. It's just about, getting ready for this game and, what it means.
Well, you did play them already, obviously, back in late November at your place. What do you remember, aside from the final score, what do you remember the most about that night?
They're high-level talent that plays really hard. They're great at scouting. They're great at sticking to the report and, executing it throughout, the whole game. And that's an intensity and a mindset that we have to match.
From a personal standpoint, how different is your game 4 months later than it was back then?
I think just more poised, probably a little bit more focused, aggression as well. Picking and choosing my spots better, knowing when it's better to kick out, when it's better, to score and seize that opportunity. And then also my playmaking, getting my teammates involved and things like that.
How different is your team than it was in late November?
I think we all know each other pretty well at this stage. I think earlier in the season we were just figuring each other out, understanding our play styles, and just still gelling and meshing as a team. And obviously coaches are still tinkering at that stage in the season with lineups and different schemes and things of that nature. So I think we have a better idea of what our identity is now.
Just two things left for you. I want to fill in the blank if you don't mind. Aside from the final score, Arizona makes it to the Elite Eight against Duke, winning the game if. What's the blank?
We match their intensity.
And from a personal standpoint, again, not necessarily your backyard, but you're as close to a local as it gets on this team. How many friends and family do you have coming down from Hyde Park to watch?
I would say around 10 to 12. Old AAU coaches, things like that, people that sort of help propel me, earlier in my basketball career to where I am now.
So not a big entourage for Mr. Toby Awaka, although I would not expect that he's the kind of guy who would have a big entourage whatsoever. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program if you want to chat Arizona basketball with us. Let's read we've got our guy, Fred Scheib. I don't know if Fred's going to the game tonight. Fred, are you going to the game tonight? It's right in your own backyard. I hope you're actually going to the game tonight, this evening. He says Cats down by 6 at the half, outscored Duke by 22 in the second half. He's got the Cats winning tonight. Well, let's see. No, he's got the Cats winning by 16 points tonight if they can get that. Or no, actually, I think he's talking about the game in 2011. I'm reading this backwards here. Yeah, he's talking about the game in 2011 when the Cats were down by 6 and then outscored Duke by 22 to win by 16 in the second half. He says keys to the game tonight: smash mouth, draw blood, play smart, keep the turnovers down. Shot selection, 50-50 balls, win the boards, tough but disciplined D. I hope you're going to be in the building tonight, Fred, watching your Wildcats.
You better be.
Yeah, you better be, J-Dub says. All right, let's get another break in. When we come back, we are going to get our scouting report. David Shoemate will join us, and we'll talk some more Duke Blue Devils basketball. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're coming to you live from St. Philip's Plaza. They've got the patio all set up here. The big screen is on. I see a game right now. The BYU game with Alabama has gotten underway. BYU is already off to an 11-9 lead in this game. I've got BYU in the Elite Eight, so if they win tonight, it will be absolutely no surprise to me.
How about those Guardians and extras?
Guardians, opening day. Is there a better day than today folks. Wildcat basketball, opening day baseball. I was listening to my guards earlier. They came down. They were down 3-0. They came back and won. Can't wait to see how it all turned out later on afterwards. But right now we're getting you set for the Wildcats. Let's hope they can do the same. Get down early maybe, or maybe just lead from the outside and never trail. That would even be better. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master planned community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system, it's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
This is just something I dreamed about ever since I was a little kid. These are the moments that I imagined myself being when I was in the driveway, things like that. So just a surreal feeling to, be here in these moments and have these opportunities. I just feel really blessed.
That was Cooper Flagg in Newark, New Jersey, speaking at the Duke Players Press Conference. Blue Devils, Arizona Wildcats, Part 2 this season, Part 3 in the NCAA tournament. Let's get you updated up on your Duke Blue Devils. Pleased to be joined by the play-by-play man for the Duke Blue Devils. David Shoemate joins us. And David, if you heard what he just said right there, I don't think there was any question that anybody had when this young man went down with that injury a few weeks ago that he was not going to be playing in this tournament. If you wait all your life to play in this, unless your leg absolutely falls off, you're going to be showing up to play in these games.
No, and obviously in Charlotte, feels like a lifetime ago. Duke fans' hearts skipped a beat, no question, with the back-to-back injuries to Malik Brown and then obviously to Cooper going down with an ankle injury. But it was great to see him back last week, and really, if you didn't know he wasn't hurt, you wouldn't have noticed it. Just watching the games, he was full range out there doing everything like he normally does. And obviously he is a huge piece of the puzzle if Duke is going to have a chance to go on and win a national title.
All right, so the big question's obviously coming back to these two teams having played in November. How is this Duke team different than what we saw here back when you guys came to Tucson and knocked off the Wildcats?
I think it's a very different team in a lot of respects, and I'm sure you guys know Arizona's a very different team too. I mean, from a pure personnel standpoint, Sion James wasn't starting back then. He's now starting and largely running the point. Patrick did not play in that game. Isaiah Evans didn't play in that game, and those are two really important pieces. So for the Blue Devils, Isaiah Evans has started a couple of games since as different guys were dealing with injuries, and Patrick Gungba, to me, has really been one of the revelations of the postseason for John Shire's group, and particularly what he's done on the defensive end. Scoring and rebounding for sure, but Gungba now is up to 17 or make it 16 blocks on the season, and like half of those have come in the ACC tournament here in the postseason. So I know the overall number isn't crazy, but the recent productivity is awfully impressive, and he had two more in the game over the weekend against Baylor, so he gives them a piece inside, obviously, with Malik Brown the last couple of games being out. It's a significant thing to give Malawach a break, but also to give a different look when he's out on the floor. So it's a very different looking team, and I also think it's a much better offensive team than Duke played with out in Arizona. John Shire actually talked about today that it was a very slow-paced game in Tucson, 69-55, the final score. Both teams are playing much faster now. The Blue Devils' offensive numbers have really jumped up over the course of the last month and a half or so, so much so that they're one of the best scoring teams, in the nation right now. And all their offensive numbers in some respects have exceeded their defensive numbers, which is pretty impressive considering what they've done defensively. So it's a very different looking team, to answer your question.
It is today's Scouting Report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960, here to get you there. We're chatting with David Shoemate. He is the play-by-play man for the Duke Blue Devils, Wildcats, and Duke in the Sweet 16. We obviously all knew about Cooper Flagg, and we had talked about it with you before last year's game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. But obviously, you guys had a pretty good freshman and big man, Con Knippel, who came in here and probably, I think a lot of people kind of knew the name when you guys played here, but really weren't sure of what this young man was about. But boy, has he been, I guess, Can you say he's been almost as good, maybe a slither down from what you've gotten from Cooper Flagg? Because Khan's been a pretty darn good addition to this team as well.
Well, I mean, I think the best thing that speaks to that is when Cooper was out in the ACC tournament, Khan Knippel was the tournament MVP when the Blue Devils won that. I mean, I think that speaks to the importance of him. Cooper's in his own category. I think everybody kind of knows that in terms of being a generational talent, but I think Khan Knippel is certainly capable of being a lottery pick in the draft this year, as is Kaman Malawach. And Knippel gives you so many different things when he's on the floor. Obviously, the shooting is evident. He's nearly a 40% three-point shooter, and in that first meeting, he had 3 of those, but he also gives you toughness on the boards. I know he had 7 rebounds in the first meeting. He's not afraid to mix it up inside. He's got versatility to his game. At 6'7", he's not afraid to drive, has good feel around the rim, and able to use hesitation moves to draw fouls, but also to create the space, to create an angle to get a shot up. He played football growing up. He's not afraid to get on the floor, and at 6'7", 217, he is a big body, even though he's listed as a guard or perimeter player. He's not afraid to mix it up inside, and he is every bit as important to what Duke does to Cooper Flagg. And there's a couple different guys that I put in that bucket, and maybe this is where you were headed, but I do think that's one of the strengths of this Duke team compared to John Shire's first couple of teams is the depth and their ability to withstand whether it be injuries or foul trouble or things like that. They just have a lot of different pieces they can throw out there, but Knippel is as important as anybody.
When you look at point guard Tyrese Proctor, I would imagine he's kind of the glue that holds this thing together, the veteran guy running this team. What's kind of been special about his role in bringing on these younger players?
He's just a really good leader. It's a team that doesn't formally have any captains. Obviously, Cooper is a leader of what he's on the floor, and Tyrese is a vocal presence. He's a guy who's been through it a little bit, right? This is his 3rd season. He reclassified to come in early, coming over from Australia, so he identifies with some of these guys, including Cooper, that have reclassified, are going through in terms of playing college basketball in the year that should have been their senior year of high school. But to me, it goes beyond the leadership. He is an elite perimeter defender, probably doesn't get as much credit as he deserves for what he does defensively. And here of late, in the in-state tournament, but also the championship game of the ACC tournament, he has been lights out from 3. I mean, he's had 6 or more threes in each of those games and was just off the charts against Baylor on Sunday afternoon when he was 7 of 8 from 3 and 9 of 10 from the field. So obviously when he can shoot and score like that, it's another guy that can space the floor. And that's one of the things, I mean, you saw in the matchup in Tucson, and teams have really struggled with that of like, obviously, when you have a guy like Cooper Flagg, people want to double Cooper Flagg. But with the spacing and the shooting and obviously the length of Malawach inside, you can't really do that against this Duke team that's allowed Cooper to operate in space as well.
It is your scouting report as we get you set for Duke and Arizona. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, here to get you there. Wildcats, obviously, in their first year in the Big 12. Duke, longtime members of the ACC. David, would you? There's obviously been a lot of talk about the strength of the ACC this season. Would you agree, disagree that with this narrative that the ACC was not as strong as it's been in the past?
Yeah, no. In past years, I definitely would have pushed back on that, but I think this year you can't argue with the numbers that are staring in front of your face. I mean, it wasn't a great year for the ACC in non-conference play, and unfortunately for the league as a whole in the tournament, it hasn't gone particularly well. But I think the one thing that's consistent within that is Duke has been an elite team all year long, and I think that has borne itself out here in the in-state tournament. We'll see what happens tomorrow night against a really good Arizona team. But no, I think it's a fair criticism to say this wasn't the best year for the ACC. I don't think I'm breaking news in that respect. And I've been asked at times of like, how do you evaluate this Duke team in terms of how they measure up against, people say you're playing a lighter schedule. How do things look? You point to the win at Arizona. You point to a win at home against Auburn. And then in February, obviously a decisive win against Illinois, a good Illinois team at Madison Square Garden. So while the league as a whole is down, I think obviously this is one of, if not best, teams John Shire's had as his tenure as head coach. And if you look at the advanced analytics in terms of KenPom, you got to go back to the 98-99 team for Duke to find a team that even compares in terms of efficiency. That's not just with Duke. That's like all time in terms of KenPom with those numbers since he started doing them, in the mid-90s. So historically, this is a really good Duke team, albeit in an ACC that was obviously down this year.
Yeah, as you mentioned that Illinois game, I remember seeing that on the schedule. How did that game kind of pop into the middle of conference like that?
Yeah, no, it's a tradition at Duke to play a game up at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, the fan base, there's a lot of fans in this part of the country, not far away over here in Newark as well. So, it's a tradition that Mike Krzyzewski really started. Obviously, his days back in Army and playing at MSG. And he liked to bring the team back up to the Northeast and start tradition. A lot of times it was St. John's and other teams. A lot of times it's done around the holidays, but I think this year there was scheduling quirk, didn't work out. So they said, you know what, let's take a shot at doing something late in conference play. They've done it before, not recently, but St. John's, they've done it a couple of different times and slotted it in, kind of a break from conference play. You get to see a different style of play. Obviously, Duke played well and won the game, but I do think it's something they're going to look at potentially doing moving forward just as a change of pace to break the monotony of the league schedule. And with these huge leagues and 20 league games, versus back in the day when it's 16, 18, what have you, I do think it's a good thing just to get a different look when it can become somewhat rote when you get into league play and you're playing ACC teams over and over again.
David Shumate joining us. He is the play-by-play man for the Duke Blue Devils. Okay, so David, the way that this team, this Duke team is playing right now, what do you think it takes for Arizona to beat them?
Oh, Arizona is plenty capable. I mean, to me, the interesting thing will be with this game as I study these two teams, and rightfully so. There's a lot of talk about the offense, and both teams can score in the 80s at will, and can really put the ball in the basket. But I think it's two really good defensive teams. And I think it's going to be whoever has a better defensive night tomorrow night is probably going to have the best chance of moving on to the Elite Eight. So this is a Duke team that's been playing really well on the defensive end. But, when you look at teams that have had success against them, Kansas shot the ball well. Kentucky had a big second half. And Auburn obviously got off to a really good start before the Blue Devils came back and won that game. Clemson shot the ball unbelievably from two. So I do think it'll be interesting to see which defensive side has a better night tomorrow night, whether that be Duke or Arizona. But obviously there's elite individual scores all over the floor. We can talk about the Duke guys, but, at Duke, obviously, we're familiar with Caleb Love and what he's capable of. And you can look at Jaden Bradley and on down the line. There's plenty of pieces for Arizona that can go off on any given night. So to me, everyone's talking about points. I wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe a little bit lower scoring game than people expected.
Yeah, you tired of seeing Caleb Love?
I mean, you play who's in front of you, right? I mean, it's funny how they put these matchups together, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but things tend to work themselves out. I mean, Jeremy Roach last week, obviously a former Duke player, was on the Baylor team, so you play that, and then Arizona, and it goes beyond Caleb Love, right, and the connection, obviously, to when he was at North Carolina. Obviously, John Shire and Tommy Lloyd have known each other over the years, and Coach Shire was talking about earlier today when he was being recruited about where he's going to go to college. Arizona was one of the three teams he was looking at, along with Illinois and Duke. So you're going to find a thread that's in common these days. It feels like any which way you turn, and with the transfer portal and how things are changing right now, I feel like it's going to become more and more common over the next few years.
Well, it should be a fun one for sure. It always is when you've got two programs who have been ultra successful at this game of college basketball. David, appreciate you taking some time to join us. Have a great call.
No, appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
David Shumate, he is the play-by-play man for the Duke Blue Devils, and that is your scouting report for tonight.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining,
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
It's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants, and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Honey,
don't hold back.
Like a jungle.
Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead, live the Diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor. Experiencing the natural.
Around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station. Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Knipple will drive right, got around Townsend, shot over Awaka, missed no good. Ball tipped right back to Knipple for three. It's up and good.
Arizona's been in his shorts defensively, not allowing Knipple a look. He got that off an offensive rebound. First clean shot for him.
Yeah, Con Knipple was the guy.
Let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the country. The college basketball scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, let's take a look at your scoreboard. As I mentioned earlier, you've got 4 games on the docket tonight in college basketball. One game is underway. That's the first game in the East Region. The other game tonight at the Prudential Center, where Arizona will take on Duke. Mid to late first half, about 8 minutes to go, Alabama is leading BYU 35-30. You'll remember last year the Wildcats were in the same bracket with Alabama. They would have played Alabama had they beaten Clemson in the Sweet 16. Alabama went on to advance to the Final Four. BYU trying to knock them out here today. Just underway in the West region out in San Francisco, number 1 seed Florida, an early 3-2 lead over Maryland. The other game out there tonight will be 10th seeded Arkansas. So go Debbie Debbie's Hogs, on the court tonight against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So the best friends, Grant McCaslin and Tommy Lloyd, both playing tonight to try to get to the Elite Eight. Major League Baseball, opening day. We've got a bunch of finals early. Padres beat the Braves 7-4. Astros over the Mets 3-1. White Sox get a big win after losing 100-plus games last year.
I heard they had the lowest over-under for win totals ever.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah, well, they're one more win closer to making that bet look bad. 8-1 the final tonight, or today, for the Chi Sox over the Angels. Terry Francona's debut with the Cincinnati Reds is a losing effort as San Francisco beats the Reds 6-4. The Marlins over the Pirates 5-4. Did Paul Skeens pitch in that game?
Paul Skeens did, in fact, pitch.
Today, what happened there, Dragon Ball? 5 1/3, 7 strikeouts?
I say that with quotations around it. Did not hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, 5 1/3, 2 runs earned, 3 hits. Not a bad outing, but the Marlins get the win today by a score of 5-4. Elsewhere, it was the Red Sox over the Rangers, 5-2 down in Dallas. Phillies beat the Nationals 7-3. Orioles over the Blue Jays 12-2. Yankees get the win at home in the Bronx 4-2 over the Brewers. Guardians go on the road in extra innings and knock off the Royals by a score of 7-4. Later tonight, up in Phoenix, the Diamondbacks will have their home opener. Zach Gallen will be on the mound, and the Chicago Cubs are the opponent. Arizona softball opening up their weekend series. They're at BYU, so naturally, if you're aware of how things work at BYU, they don't play on Sundays, so that series is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday affair. The Wildcats in the top of the third leading BYU by a score of 3-0. Early, no hits so far for the BYU Cougars. Miranda Stoddard has a 2-run home run for Arizona. That's a check of your scoreboard.
The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, you heard the basket by Con Knipple at the top. DK with the Duke Players is sponsored by nobody. Caught up with Con Knipple as well as Tyrese Proctor and Cooper Flagg. Let's start with my question to Tyrese Proctor, who knows a little bit about competing against Caleb Love. Tyrese, you're the one up there that's had the most games career-wise versus Caleb Love when he was at North Carolina and obviously here at Arizona. What have you really enjoyed about competing with him out on the floor?
I think just the intensity. It's always a high-level matchup. I mean, it's always a great game, and I mean, that's really it.
And for Con and Cooper, the two of you really didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of Henry Vasar in that first meeting here in Tucson, but what have you seen on tape about the player that he is, both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, Vasar is one of those guys that just plays really, really hard, mucks up a game. Obviously, he's really dangerous on the offensive rebounds, but knows how to play on both ends.
Yeah, I would say, to what Con said, just a good player. I'm going to play really hard and can just be a weapon for him.
There you go, the players for the Duke Blue Devils. Not extremely talkative, very serious. Those guys are, at least to my questions, they were. But maybe they'll talk a little bit more about their teammate, Cooper Flagg. Let's actually hear from Con Knipple here on Duke actually having multiple shooters and how he has developed his stroke in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of good shooters on the team, especially this guy and Isaiah and Cooper. So it's hard to guard a bunch of shooters on the floor, so it gives us a bunch of looks. But growing up, I mean, my dad was a pretty good shooter, so just learning from him, getting reps up. And, I wasn't great in middle school, but as I got to high school, just the amount of reps that you take really helps you prepare.
Con Knipple, I'm not sure. Do we know, is his dad anybody of note that played the game at a high level? I don't. That name does
I don't.
not
Kelvin,
sound familiar to me.
I don't remember anybody with the last name Knibble playing in the 80s or 90s, but maybe I don't know. Maybe.
No, I never heard of that name. That's not one you forget.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, it's interesting. We're talking about just kind of early. We're talking about guys from other countries and international players that come over and play the game. And when I saw the Colorado State had hired their new coach, promoted their assistant back in the day at Northern Iowa, I was like, I was trying to remember who that was. I was like, I had to go back and look up the video on that play, which I think was probably about 12 or 13 years ago, because I remember Northern Iowa used to always have those really good teams back in the day, but I did not remember that particular player. He is now the head coach at Colorado State. Con Knippel started all 36 games for the Duke Blue Devils.
I got an update.
Oh.
Con Knippel's dad was also named Con. He played at Wisconsin Lutheran and was the school's all-time leading scorer up until 2019.
There you go. There you go. So it's a Division III, I would imagine, or
something like that.
NAIA, one of those schools. So Con's dad, Con Sr., had some game for sure. Well, he's out of Wisconsin. That would make sense. He went to Wisconsin Lutheran, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Con Knippel. The Blue Devils also have their veteran guard, Tyrese Proctor. He's missed one game but started 35, 12 points, or 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists on the season. Tyrese, on how this whole team is unselfish.
I think as a group, we're very unselfish and just understanding how we play together and understanding the spots that we can excel at on the court. So I feel like, Caleb, Sion, Con, Coop, really everyone, just being able to put me individually in a position to succeed, get into my spots. When I have the ball, I'm trying to do the same thing for them. So I think just having that understanding as a group is why, we're such a good team.
All right. Might it be one of those guys, Con Knippel, Tyrese Proctor, Cooper Flagg, who gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? Let's find out who's going to be that pest.
Who is today's pest of the game?
1 second. Got it at the buzzer.
The pest of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right. I'm sure that there were a lot of teams out there that looked at the scouting report back in the day and thought, oh, man, that Kelvin Ifan, he's going to be a pest. You probably fit right into that role, Kelvin, back during your days, so we'll let you go first tonight. Who's going to be that guy that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin?
Man, I got to go with Proctor, man. I just think that his defense, man, the problems that he causes with his long arms, his length, and his anticipation, and just able to play off of Cooper Flagg and all the shot blockers, he just causes havoc.
Tyrese Proctor, says Kelvin Ifan.
Vet.
I was actually hoping to go with Malik Brown, but we don't know if Malik Brown is going to play tonight. He is a to-be-determined game-time decision with an injury for the Duke Blue Devils. So I will not pick Malik since we don't know if he's going to play tonight. But I'll go with Con Knippel just because I think every great player needs a great running mate. And he's been a really good sidekick. When you look at the fact that this team is number 1 in the country and their top 2 scorers are freshman bigs, that's pretty impressive for this team. We always talk about how the guards win in March, and we certainly hope that that's the case. And not to say that they don't have some good guards on this team, but, man, do they really have some strong forwards.
Yeah.
So Con Knippel's my guy.
I think Con Knippel and Proctor are both great choices. I'm going to go with the biggest pest I've gone with all year, and that's Mr. Malawach. Because I think when you talk about the Duke team, especially offensively, you think about all their shooters. They got what is Proctor, 12 for 12 and 3-pointers in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, Con Knippel comes in with that rep. We know Cooper Flagg can hit it. But those roles, Kelvin, and the pressure around the rim defensively and offensively that Mr. Malawach can put on it, I think that's a guy that doesn't get talked about as much as the others, and that's what I always think of as my pest. So I'll go with the biggest pest of the year, Mr. Malawatch, because that guy, if you lose track of him, he's just going to be rolling right to the rim and dunking all game long, Kelvin Ifan. That's what he does.
Yeah, very, very great pest of the game. And like you said, that's probably the largest pest we've had all year.
Tyrese Proctor is shooting 81% from three in the postseason.
7 for 9 in the last game, right?
He's
Something
13
like that.
of 16 from three in their first 2 games of the season.
I saw the game.
Look out for him.
If you look at the highlights of their last game versus Baylor, his first shot, Kelvin, nobody was within 9 feet, 10 feet of him. That first shot, he was wide open, got to set his feet, see it go in, and from that point on, as a shooter, the way he's stroking the ball right now, you could tell he was in for a 7 for 8 night.
Yeah, you got to stay attached. You got to stay attached to these guys, man. I really think you have to sit down and play one-on-one with most of these guys. I know you want to come off and help on flags a lot of times. I just think you should drop off of him and make him shoot. But, yeah, man, these guys, man, are a problem, and we're going to definitely have to be out on these guys early.
All right, so Con Knippel, Tyrese Proctor, and our guy Kaman Malowich. Those are the 3 guys we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Amazing stuff. That's today's Best of the Game. The Best of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
I mean, Duke is shooting the ball at an unbelievable 56% clip in their first 2 games of the NCAA tournament. I mentioned Tyrese Proctor. He's shooting 79% overall. Kaman Malowich has not missed a shot. He's 8 for 8. Con Knippel's 6 for 10. Caleb Foster is 7 for 8. Cooper Flagg is 11 for 23. I guess that's pedestrian. He's only shooting 48%.
Well, he's getting all the attention, DK, and those other guys are getting open looks. That's how that works.
And Patrick Ngumba is 5 for 7, shooting 71%.
So what that tells me is that you got to make these guys uncomfortable. They've been comfortable. They've been able to get to their spots. They've been able to get the shots that they want. I mean, Arizona watches tape. They looking at the same thing we're looking at. When you see guys that are that high percentage and being able to score at that high percentage, that means that you need to get a little rough with them.
Yeah, and Kelvin, no disrespect to the Baylor guards. We know what they bring year in, year out. But I think Duke's going to see a little bit more physicality from this group of Arizona guards than maybe they did in the last round.
All right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's go ahead and hear from the head coach of the one more DK. We got DK. Actually, we have 2 more coming up. We have this one and one more. DK with John Shire. John Shire, the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. Here's a little fact you might not have known about John Shire. Is it true that Arizona was one of the final schools that you looked at when you made the decision to go to Duke? And if that's so, what was that experience like being recruited by Lute Olson, and what went into the decision not to choose Arizona and to instead go to Duke?
Well, yeah, you're taking me back now. That was it feels like a long time ago. They were my final 3 were Duke, Illinois, and Arizona, and I just love Coach Olson. He was awesome to meet, to be around. I had a great visit there, although the visit was on the heels of Arizona actually playing Illinois in I think Elite 8 game, I think it was. But just love Coach Olson, love the way they played, and ultimately it wasn't about what wasn't right at Arizona, it was about what was right at Duke, and that's just where I felt I belonged and where my heart belonged. But yeah, really respected those guys and loved the time there.
He had to bring up that Illinois game.
Yeah, had to.
Had to bring up that Illinois game. Rub a little salt in the wound there. Didn't pick us, and then it was after the loss to Illinois.
I don't know what the inference was there, DK. What is it? Was it like had the game gone differently versus Illinois? Maybe he would have changed. No,
probably not. He probably still would have gone to Duke. But interesting fact there that Arizona was one of John Shire's final choices for his college career back in the day. 520-848-1290. Want to hear your thoughts on Arizona basketball. We've got much more coming up for us straight ahead. 2 hours are in the books. 1 hour left to go. Arizona and Duke tonight in Newark for the right to advance to the East Regional Final. You're going to hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 as well as K-Hit 107.5. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day with Kelvin Ifan, J.W. Madden. We are live here at St. Philip's Plaza. Come on down. We're right between Reforma and Union Public House. The games are going to be on the big screen out here on the patio. It's going to be a beautiful night to be outside to watch Wildcat basketball. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Spring is here and the weather can be unpredictable. Now is the time to start preparing for the long, hot summer. If your air conditioner is tired and worn out, call Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to provide you with the right options for your home. We are offering 4 years same-as-cash financing on high-efficient Rheem air conditioning systems. Call us today at 520-492-0748 or pixrockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R4 and systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Handed off to Love. Love top, step back, 3 ball up and good. Caleb Love, what a second half, 18 points.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, final hour of the show here from the St. Philip's Plaza. Tip-off at 6:40 scheduled tonight at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. We'll have our best bets. Arizona is a 9.5-point underdog tonight against the number 1 seed and number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils. The over-under is 155. That's on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. We will also have your view from courtside. Mark Ernay will join us from the Prudential Center. He had a chance to catch up with Carter Bryant. We'll hear from Carter Bryant. You've been seeing all the videos of him meditating. Well, Mark asked him a little bit about that. Keys to the game and starting lineups still ahead. We'll also hear from Anthony DeLarso, Jaden Bradley, and Tommy Lloyd coming up as well. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Abraham Samuel Velasco checks in on, he's watching the show on Facebook, says, let's go, Arizona Wildcats, bear down. Appreciate Abraham for checking in and being a part of the show today. Again, 520-848-1290 is the number if you want to give us a call and or a text and let us know your thoughts. Or come on down. We're here again at the Union Public House, St. Philip's Plaza, Reforma. Come on down and tell us in person what you think is going to happen tonight with your Arizona Wildcats. Don't forget, we will not be streaming this game. You'll hear it on the radio, but we will not be streaming the game on any of our platforms. WildcatsRadio1290.com, TuneIn,
Twitch,
iHeart, any of those. You will not be able to listen to the game on any of those platforms. You're going to have to download the Varsity Network, the Varsity app, and then you can click on University of Arizona, and you'll be able to hear the broadcast with Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen through that platform tonight. So please do that. All right, let us hear now. You heard that basket by the one and only Caleb Love, who's been absolutely fabulous in the postseason for your Arizona Wildcats. Caleb has been on a complete tear. 29 points against the Oregon Ducks. He has now 89 career points in the NCAA tournament in an Arizona uniform. He scored 123 points in the tournament for the North Carolina Tar Heels. He is the first player to score 75 points or more in the NCAA tournament for 2 different programs. Caleb Love. Let's hear from Tommy on if he's got a closer in Caleb Love.
He's our closer, but he's not our only one. You know, I mean, I'm a big believer, and obviously you want to have a guy that's comfortable with the ball in his hands and not afraid in those moments. But I've also just thought the best way to close games is make the right basketball play. And, you know, speaking of closing, I guess we had a 3-on-1 fast break where, two guys went for the alley-oop and it didn't go in. And my good friend Steve Kerr texted me. I'm like, what was the hell was up with that 3-on-1? And I said, yeah, I know, coach. And he was like, well, just so you feel better, Draymond would have did the same thing, and Steph would have pulled up and shot a 3. So, I've always felt like, at Arizona, my 4 years, we've kind of lived on the edge of excitement. And, maybe there's times I wish we had a little bit more conservative approach to things, but I also think that let it rip mentality is kind of who we are. And I think it's provided way more positives and way more benefits than negatives for us. So, just really, really proud of the guys tonight. I mean, that was awesome. And I'm so happy we get we get to stay together and keep competing.
Yeah, you don't want to see the Wildcats mess up too many easy scoring opportunities like they had on that 3-and-1 alley-oop at the rim, and both KJ Lewis and Caleb Love went up for it, and neither one of them came down with it.
Yeah, Kelvin, I mean, it's all well and good to say that Coach Kerr said Draymond would have done the same thing, but when you're talking about a flow, it's literally spacing. So when you have two guys that are both trying to attack the rim, trying to cut to the rim off ball with the ball handler pushing on a break, one of those guys, Kelvin, just has to read the room, figure out that he needs to go over to the corner in case they cut off that rim threat. And the two guys basically just tried to make the same read, make the same play, and that's where that mix-up came from. They were both trying to obviously dunk the ball in an alley-oop. One of those guys just needs to be in the corner waiting for the ball.
Well, let me say this. First off, it's just like a coach to go with the bad thing that happened when he was getting complimented,
Sure.
right? He does the first, to talk about that one play because they had a bunch of great plays where they finished. But I'm gonna tell you what happened on that. It was KJ Lewis who should have ran to the corner, who should have spaced out. Even though he is the leaper, the angle that he came in, that lob was totally for Caleb Love. But you could also tell that Bradley was in between who he wanted to throw. He was torn on who he wanted to throw it to. So he should have threw it to the backside box. It would have went to Caleb Love, and he would have finished it. But he kind of threw it right in the middle of those guys.
Now, is that two guys trying to get a highlight, Kelvin Efon?
I wouldn't necessarily say a highlight, just trying to make a play, And hey, while you're making a play, if it's a highlight, it's even better.
Sure.
Well, and it goes back to, again, KJ Lewis is still a sophomore. He's done a lot of things for this program, but he's still a sophomore, and I think there's times out there that he still looks like he's a little nervous in certain situations, and we've seen that kind of all season long. Sometimes maybe the game gets a little bit ahead of him, and he has to kind of reel it back in for himself. And that was just, I felt like one of those instances where KJ might have gotten just a little bit too excited.
Kelvin, I will say this. We started this whole segment talking about Coach Lloyd mentioning who his closer was, and he said multiple guys. And the first guy that comes to mind, KJ Lewis in the last month or two. I mean, down the stretch, the last 5-8 minutes of the game, KJ's making a much more concerted effort to get 10, 12 feet from the rim, pull up with that 40-inch vert and shoot over the top of guys from mid-range. It seems like most of his shots come down the stretch. But in those reads and those live action things, those are two great athletes, both trying to make a play at the rim. Spacing, it's so subjective, but he'll learn from that. He'll learn from that for sure because KJ just wants to be the best version of himself.
All right,
yeah, and I add to that, as what my coach had on, as a coach, I don't mind that. I'd rather have two guys trying to jump and tear the rim down than guys standing around, not cutting, not running the break, trailing slow down the court. Hey, those guys, they were hauling, man. They was hustling down that court. So, hey, those type of mistakes happen when you're being aggressive.
All right, let's give you another DK. This time it's DK with Caleb, sponsored by Nobody. Our chance to talk to Caleb Love earlier this week about this run to the Sweet 16.
Caleb, just what did it mean for you to be able to play at home and obviously I believe it's your mom's home. Your mom is originally from Kansas City, and have all those folks that were there for the Big 12 tournament supporting you.
It felt great. It was a blessing, first and foremost, because I never played in Kansas City prior to that. And, for that many family members, I think I had, well, for what I know, at least like 50 people there for me. on my mom's side and, my dad's side as well. It was a blessing just to see them cheering me on and for them to get that chance to, see me play. And, it was a great feeling.
I think they told a story about your grandfather used to back up a truck or something underneath the basket. What do you remember about that growing up?
Yeah, that's kind of where it all started. Obviously my mom is from Kansas City, so I used to go drive up there, or my mom used to drive me up there as a kid when I was younger, just to see my grandparents and obviously her side of the family. And me and my grandfather had such a close relationship, and he was, he kind of, wanted to put the ball in my hands. And, that's kind of where it all started, with him, backing up his truck and, him teaching me kind of how to shoot and things like that.
Caleb, but what are you feeling in these last few games of your college career as you kind of, look back on the entirety of the time you've been in college?
I'm looking towards one game, and that's Duke. My mind is focused on them. Our mind is focused on them, and, like I said earlier, we focus on, whatever game plan the coaches give us, then that's the best game plan that we're going to go with, and we're going to try to execute that game plan to a T.
Now, that was Tuesday. Yesterday, Caleb was a little bit more open to discussing his college career. This was Caleb when he was asked essentially the same question on Wednesday.
I think it's definitely been a journey. And, my journey has been a lot of adversity, a lot of ups and downs, and everything in between. But, I think it's made me who I am as a person and a player. I've grown so much over the course of my, college career, not only on the court but off the court. I've learned so much, and, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But, we're here now, and, I thank God for, keeping me, and, I trust in him that, in every situation that, he's going to have me covered.
There you go. Caleb Love yesterday. Again, it's Kelvin, it's hard to, you want to keep your eye on the prize, but at the same time, this is the end of the run, so you're trying to be focused with what you got to do. At the same time, reflect on the journey that's gotten you to this point.
Yeah, but, it's hard to reflect because you feel like you're still in the moment. So,
right.
A lot of that you want to talk about once everything is done, but right now you kind of locked in, as you said, on that one game, Duke, man. I mean, I can honestly tell you, being in this situation, you're totally not thinking about what's your past or what's went on at that time. You're only in the moment, especially for a veteran, a senior, a guy that's been in so many big games and want to get back.
Absolutely. All right, let's find out. This might be the final night to cash a ticket. Let's find out who's going to do so.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right. As we head into what could be the final night, J-Dub is +4. DK is +2. Kelvin is +2 as well.
Hot streak.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we stand. U of A, Duke, Arizona getting 9.5 points in this game tonight. I don't know that Arizona's going to win, but I've been pretty consistent in my bets to thinking these games are going to be closer than what some of these lines are. So I'm going to take Arizona and that 9.5 points tonight because I think it's going to be a lot closer than that.
And that line has nothing to do with Arizona. It just has to do with how well Duke's been playing lately.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Kelvin, what do you think?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. As I went back and looked at the game, I looked at how Arizona, the competition Arizona's played against, and how the guys have been playing lately. Man, I actually got Arizona by 3. So yeah, I'm gonna take that all day.
So you will take Arizona winning straight up on the money line, but 9.5 on the line. Little upset.
Same.
J-Dub's got the Cats.
Yeah, same,
as
Kelvin.
well.
I think, Duke's been playing really well. Obviously, we can talk a lot about it, but the way I see it is a 40-minute game, and they're running 8-9 guys deep, but it doesn't really matter how many guys you can put out there, how well individuals are playing. It matters about guys stepping up this time of year, Kelvin, and making shots, and I just see Arizona playing maybe their best game of the year. So, yeah, I think Cats cover the spread and win by 2.
All right. So the over-under is 155. Last week or Sunday it was 151. It hit 170. They didn't really score a lot the first time these two teams played. Both teams are scoring at a lot larger pace than then. So I'm going to go over on this. I think it's going to be over 155.
K-Rock?
Man. Even though I think it's going to be a defensive game, I just think the offense is going to be played at a high level. So, yeah, I'm going to go over as well.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I think these two teams are playing a lot faster, like Coach Shire said. Both teams pushing the pace a little bit more. Two very good offensive teams, but two great defensive teams. So I could definitely see the under as well. But I think, like Kelvin said, I think both teams play inspired basketball, some guys knock down shots you might not expect. So I think it's something like 76-74. So over.
All right. There you go. All right. So everybody's taking Arizona and the 9.5 points, and everyone is taking the over in this game. We'll find out who's cashing tickets on the postgame show.
Those are today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, before we go to break, let's hear one more from Anthony Del Orso talking about his guy, Caleb Love.
Yeah, obviously coming in, you hear all these preconceived notions about, UNC and Caleb and kind of that whole deal. But for me, I never, judged him, never had any thoughts of my own until I want to meet him myself and get the real deal. And I think people don't have that because they're not able to get the chance to meet him and get to really know him. So, on the court throughout this year, we've been super connected just in the fact that, we play similar position. We're getting getting mashed and doing different reps, and we'll work out every day together, every morning. I'm probably the closest with him. He's an unbelievable leader, whether it's voice or it's his actions or whether it's him leading the way or as simple as him being in a timeout and telling everyone to calm down and relax because we got this. Like you said, in that 14 or 15-point deficit, how are we so poised? We're poised because guys like Caleb that have the stage like that are able to stay calm, makes everyone else calm. So that's a credit to Caleb. That's a credit to how he's kind of been, brought up and stuff like that. But if you want to describe him as a leader, that's how I would describe him. He steadies the ship for everyone.
That's Anthony Del Orso, and let's get a break in here. We're going to go back to Newark, New Jersey. Straight ahead, we'll check in with our guy, Mark Ernay, who's covering the Wildcats for you this week at the NCAA East Regional, and we're going to hear his conversation with Carter Bryant on meditating. That's coming up. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, The Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Don't hold back.
just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead, live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Put your money to work for you. Hughes Federal Credit Union offers a safe, reliable path to some of the best rates in the state. You'll get a fixed rate of return with our 17 or 30-month jumbo certificate account with rates as high as 4.5% APY. There's no market risk and your funds are insured by NCUA. Hughes has been named one of the top credit unions in Arizona by Forbes. Get started at hughesfcu.org/elevate. Save smart with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Minimum balance is up to $99,000.
The Window Depot wants to help bring your dream kitchen to life. As a family-owned and operated business, we pride ourselves on offering the best prices, the biggest inventory, and exceptional customer service you won't find at the big box stores. From premium cabinets to stunning quartz and granite countertops, faucets, hardware, and sinks, our designers are here to guide homeowners every step of the way, all under one roof. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Love double team to Basar. Basar in the lane. Shovel it up. Carter Bryant slams it home.
Up the elevator shaft is Carter Bryant. Dunked it on the way up.
It's time now for us to take you down to front row of the arena. A view from the courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
All right, well, normally we take you down to front row, but judging from the picture I saw from our guy Mark Ernay, he is anything other than the front row. Rest in peace, Bob Euchre. It looks like, Mark, you are actually really, really high at the Prudential Center. Where do they have y'all there?
I'll be honest, I like it up there. At the old Meadowlands Arena, they used to call it the Halo, so I still call it that. I came downstairs because it was way too loud up there during halftime. Alabama's got a big lead on BYU, and they have been raining threes. Bama hit, I think, 6 of their first 9 or 10. They are 12 of 27 from downtown at the break, and BYU is just 1 for 13 from behind the arc, and that is the big difference in an 11-point Crimson Tide lead.
All right, obviously, Mark, we've heard that Duke plays a game at Madison Square Garden every single year. At least they try to play there every single year. Most people we've always jokingly referred to Las Vegas as McHale North when the Wildcats have played there and in Southern California. This is probably going to be a decided home advantage for the Blue Devils tonight. Is that the indication that there's going to be a lot of blue in the house this evening?
There's already a lot of blue and a lot of people rooting for BYU in that first game. But, yes, there were a bunch of seats that were wide open when the game started. I assume they'll be filled in by the Dukies as the first game continues into the second half.
Okay, so you had a chance to be over at the arena yesterday, and you talked to several people in terms of the Arizona Wildcat players.
Yeah, talked to Henry Vaser, talked to Toby Awaka, talked to Jaden Bradley. And Carter Bryant is, I think, one of my favorite stories. You know, he's a grandchild of deaf grandparents. His grandfather, Doc Torres, USA Deaf Basketball Hall of Famer. His grandma teaches at the California School for the Deaf, where his father coaches. His mom, a sign language interpreter. And Carter sees being deaf as a superpower rather than a disability. So I'm thinking, how can you not root for a kid like that? And, of course, you guys have been fixated so much on this pregame meditation routine of his. I had to ask him about the genesis of that.
It came from my parents. I think my parents, from a young age, kind of instilled. They wanted me to have a confidence. They wanted me to have a sureness about myself in life. And I think it just came from a state of just trying to get relaxed, trying to allow myself to grow, allow myself to be comfortable in my own skin. Because I remember growing up, I used to get so anxious to play basketball, so anxious. I used to get so excited. I used to get so anxious to go to I used to get so excited to go to school, do anything in life. I was just I was a kid that was kind of everywhere. I was just so curious, and as I got older, my mom was like, you just relax. Like, there's nothing to be nervous about. There's nothing to be crazy about. And I think meditation is something that kind of came in my life, and my parents kind of showed me, and they were like, you could try this if you wanted. It was nothing that was forced upon me. It was nothing that was like, you need to do this. But it was something I almost gravitated towards once I learned about it.
And how long ago did it start?
After I broke my leg my freshman year of high school, so this has been about 5 years now. Yeah.
Now, I know that ordinarily you're on the floor in the empty arena visualizing all this other stuff, but you guys in this tournament have been playing back ends of double headers. So where do you go for the quiet, the solitude?
It's actually funny you say that. And I remember when I first started meditating and grounding and doing all those things, I couldn't do it unless it was in complete silence. And one thing that I've grown to do, and one thing that I've realized is, as I've gotten older, you have to be able to do things in commotion. When things are hectic, you have to be able to still execute and do what you need to do. So whether it's in front of a ton of people, I actually prefer to do it before the game. And like, if there's nobody on the court, like if it was in Tucson, usually get to the game 3 hours before the game, and I'll do it then when there's nobody on the floor. But I notice I'm like, okay, when you get to, like, when you're in the tournament, you're playing like you said, you're playing back-to-back games. So it's like people are already in there, fans are already in there. So it's just something that you have to be consistent with, and you can't allow the outside noise to kind of affect you.
So where will you go tomorrow, and what time will you start?
I mean, probably end up being right before the game after we do our guards bigs kind of workout on the floor. I do my visualization in my room before the game, so nothing too crazy, nothing too wild.
That's very interesting. Just the whole mindset. It's what I liked about that though is that they used the meditation, his parents did, guys, as a method to calm him down because he appeared to be a little bit of an excitable, hyper child. So hey, meditation calms you down, puts you in a place where you can function properly in whatever environment that you're in. I like
meanwhile,
that.
Kelvin Ifan is over here hyping up his teammates in the locker room. That's how it calms him down. The opposite.
Hey, are you a meditation guy, Mark?
I like to try and chill out when I can.
You're not sitting in the middle of your living room, though, with your family, just kind of trying to tune out all the noise that's happening at the Erne household, I would imagine, though.
No, but I am from a family of transcendental meditationists, though.
Okay.
And I have taken some of that into my adult life. Yeah, a little bit, not a lot.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Mark Erne joining us from the Prudential Center in Newark. He is covering the Arizona Wildcats for us this week at the Sweet 16, getting you set for tonight's game. And Mark had more with Carter Bryant on tonight's second matchup between the Duke Blue Devils and the Arizona Wildcats.
I want to talk about the matchup. Obviously, it's a big game against Duke. Team you guys saw back in November at your place didn't go the way you wanted. What's different about Arizona Wildcats basketball 4 months later than what Duke saw back then?
I think the biggest thing is we've grown. We've grown, and I think Duke has as well. They've gotten a lot better. We've gotten a lot better. So at the end of the day, basketball is a game of you want to get better as the year progresses. You want to be playing your best basketball March. So, I think the biggest thing for us is just understanding that we have to defend and rebound the ball. I think those are our keys to the game, no matter what the outcome is, defending and rebounding.
How different is your game than it was in late November before Thanksgiving?
I think it's a lot different. I think I'm a lot more matured now. I think the game has started to slow down for me. I've understood how to play hard now. I think that's something that is a very unique ability that I didn't understand was a skill almost, being able to play hard.
Last thing I have for you, we're going to do a little fill in the blank if you don't mind. Arizona reaches the Elite Eight with a win over Duke if
we defend and rebound at the best of our abilities. I think that's the goal, the key to the game. Simple as that.
I like, Mark, that you asked all the guys that one question about what the Wildcats have to do to advance the Elite Eight.
Well, the easy answer, obviously, is score more points. And I made sure that I prefaced the question, don't answer it that way because that's too easy. But, it's interesting. If you go back to the other guys, they all pretty much said the same thing, right? It was 50-50 balls, defense, and rebounding. And I asked one of them, I can't remember who, what makes this game different than if defense and rebounding are the keys? And he said, well, it's win or go home. So that is the key difference is you need to win or else you're done.
There you go. There you go. Mark Erne, our beat reporter this week on Arizona basketball at the Sweet 16. Mark, did you race over to the Prudential Center from Yankee Stadium today? Did you get over to see opening day?
No, because the game didn't start till 3 Eastern, so
okay.
there was no chance I could be there and here. Maybe Saturday, depending on how things go. I know you guys are hoping the Wildcats are playing in the Elite Eight.
We want you working on.
I'm going to hope so too.
We want you working on Saturday, but for us.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Let's do it.
How far is the Prudential Center from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx? Is that a long distance?
Maybe 40 minutes. No, 40 minutes. Maybe an hour in traffic.
So what is have you covered a number of these NCAA regionals or first rounds there in the city? Generally, is there an outside area where people congregate? Do they have a fan fest or anything of that nature going on at the arena?
Not really, but they've built up downtown Newark a little bit more, so you have the bars and the restaurants, but it's not like you would see in downtown Manhattan, if they're at the Garden, where they've been doing some early rounds, and we do have some regionals at the Garden now since they moved the NIT out. It's a much different environment, and it's a much different scene. But still fun nonetheless. Once the ball is thrown up by the referees, basketball is basketball.
All right, so we've got at the half, right, or just starting second half, Alabama is leading BYU 60-47. The Crimson Tide are the number 2 seed, trying to get back to the Elite Eight for the second straight year. They went to the Final Four last year. And then out west in San Francisco, number 1 seed Florida right now, late first half, trailing 4th seed Maryland, who got in on a buzzer beater, 36-35. The Terps on top of the Gators. I've got the Gators. Mark, the Gators are my national champion. J-Dub, my partner out here, he picked Arizona. Who do you have in your bracket winning it all?
I had St. John's.
Oh, you went with your heart. J-Dub went with his heart.
Always.
You really went with your heart.
I really did, and I got burned.
There you go. All right, well, Josan Sannon is on the way, so don't be too unhappy about that. All right, we're going to check back in with Mark after the ball game. He'll have a reaction, win or lose, from the Arizona locker room. Mark, appreciate it, and enjoy the game. We'll talk to you in a few hours here.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully a happy recap.
There we go. Mark Ernay, New York City sports reporter. That is your view from courtside, although it's actually tonight way up in the rafters.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Motoring around one day, Bob heard all about it on the radio. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras for one low price, including valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. Bob knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. As cliches would have it, just then Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 locations and without hesitation claimed his new set of tires, installed for one low price, thingies included.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the bird.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Freeway fiasco in Flagstaff.
Hurt in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson.
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com.
Dragon Ball Run starting lineup sounder just right
If you're ready to build your dream home, let the Window Depot help. Our expertise spans more than 20 years helping contractors provide custom windows built to last.
Yeah, 'cause we'll
our
be
in-house
short on
design team works closely with you and your contractor to create the perfect windows. From design to delivery, your contractor will have exactly what they need when they need it. And with the largest inventory and unbeatable prices, your dream windows are just a step away. Visit us in store to get started or find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. Best prices, biggest inventory.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Our Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday Show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Leave it for Knippel. Pump fake the three. Knippel wants to drive. Can't. Off to Flag. 3-ball. Left side is good. Flag 11 second half points, 19 in the ball game.
Cooper Flag. The Wildcats are going to have to control him tonight if they want to win. Duke 33-3. Coming in, the number one team in the country, the number one seed in this tournament. Cooper Flag drawing comparisons to a guy by the name of Larry Bird. What does he think of that?
Obviously, I grew up watching old Larry Bird videos and stuff like that. The 85-86 Celtics team and their championship that year. So obviously, it's really cool to hear people say that. I mean, he's a legend, so it gives me a lot of confidence, and it's just a big compliment. The comparisons, I don't really have too much to say on how I compare to him or not. I don't really compare myself to anybody. I just try and be my own player.
Cooper Flag, ACC top 10 in 4 of the 5 major stat categories. He was 3rd in scoring, 9th in rebounding, 8th in assists, 8th in blocked shots. He was also 11th in steals. Do you guys see a little Larry, the legend, in
Well,
this game?
Kelvin, he's 6'10", and he's a white guy. So, I mean, that's the comparison. And, Cooper Flag is 3 times more explosive than Larry ever was. And Larry was a great defender. Larry was a all-league defender, one of the greatest shooters of all time. I mean, Cooper's got a long way to go before he can even get in that category. But the comparisons are quite simply that he does everything, Kelvin. I mean, Larry Bird was one of the best all-around players that the game ever saw.
Yeah, he kind of, I don't know if it's a slight, but Rudy Gay.
Yeah.
Just the type of athlete, run up and down the court. I mean, a couple injuries hurt him as far as in the NBA and whatnot, but if you go back and look at him in college and whatnot, the type of athlete that he was, I think that's the type of athlete Cooper is.
Yeah, little Paul George, too, right? Because both 6'9", 6'10", and take their defenses very seriously.
I saw Rudy Gay play a little bit during his time with the Memphis Grizzlies before I came out here to Arizona. Always a crowd favorite was Rudy Gay. All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight against the Duke Blue Devils.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealer that is different.
All right, keys to the game for tonight. We'll start with Kelvin Yvonne.
Number one, man, I went back and dissected that game here at Tucson, and I just really feel like, man, we can't let them out-hustle us. We can't give up the backdoor layups, the screen and roll layups. We have to be on point and in our tight rotation on defense. I think also we really need to shut down Knippel. I don't think you don't want to give him wide open threes, and I also think we should attack him offensively. I think he's the weak link in their defense. You can get by him and get layups or open up passing lanes. And then I also feel like that we have to take care of the ball. We can't give Duke live ball turnovers because it seems like Cooper Flag dunks every one of those.
All right, Kelvin Yvonne with his keys to the game. J-Dub.
Yeah, similar. I think, number one, you got to limit their open looks because that's a very good offensive team. You give them a bunch of open shots, it's going to be a long day. If they do get shots, make sure there's a hand in their face, contested threes. And on that same note, you got to stay with Malawatch and the others on the roll because they set up a lot of their roll game based on their outside shooting. So stay with those guys, challenge their drives, make sure that you put a body on them. Number two, you got to make your damn layups. So the whole 6 for 18 on layups in the last game, guys, will not cut it tonight. Concentrate, finish those shots. Kelvin talked about it. Don't care what it looks like. just care to see the ball go through all the way through the net. And number 3, we need guys to step up and make shots. This is just one of those games. Caleb's not going to be able to score 100 points to beat this Duke team. You need some of the other guys you might not consider to be big moment dudes step up and make maybe the biggest shots of their lives in order to beat this very, very good Duke team. Jaden Bradley, KJ, Deli, all those guys, they got to step up, shoot with confidence, knock them down. Those are my keys.
Well, attention to details, I think, is kind of wraps into that right there, guys. You cannot be making the stupid turnovers, standing out of bounds, traveling, not being able to convert fast break layups, scoring, not missing a lot of putbacks around the basket, the little details to make sure that you can continue to get yourself easy points, I think is going to be so important. Easy baskets is going to be so important against the Wildcats. But like J-Dub said, you also have got to be able to shoot the basketball in this game. I think this is one of those games you got to make 12 threes or more to win it. That's what it's going to take, and that's going to have to come from everybody. I talked about guys disappearing last week. Kind of saw that a little bit in the Oregon game. Trey really wasn't, involved as much as he had been in the game against Akron. So everybody has to carry their load tonight. We need everybody to be involved. Nobody disappears. I think this is Anthony's game. Anthony kind of disappeared that first time around. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I hope he's got a chip on his shoulder coming in tonight. And Anthony Del Orso can be one of those guys that really steps up and maybe is that shot maker to take some of that distance threat away from Caleb Love. So I'd like to see Anthony come out right away. I'd love to see Tommy try to get him a 3 look right away to see if you can get him going and get that confidence going. I think you talk about, Kelvin, how we need to maybe scheme some stuff early. Let's scheme and get Anthony going early because he could be so key if he could get you 3 or 4 threes in this ball game. So, I'll go with what the fella said. Rebound, rebound, rebound. Win the rebounding battle, and you got a shot to beat the number 1 team in the country. Those are the things that we believe the Wildcats need to do to beat the Duke Blue Devils.
Wildcat fans, those are our keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Jaden Bradley out of Rochester, New York. Somewhat, that's upstate New York, so not a hometown kid, but close enough, right? 6'3" junior, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. That was his exact stat line to go along with the 3 steals that he had against Oregon. He's got 65 steals on the season. Caleb Love, 6'4", 5th year out of St. Louis, Missouri, leading scorer at 17 points, 29 points in the game against Oregon, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's made 93 threes this year, and he shoots 88% from the line. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6", junior out of Melbourne, Australia, 7 points, 41% three-point shooter, also shoots 88% from the line. Trey Townsend, 6'7", forward out of Oxford, Michigan, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Toby Awaka, 6'9", junior out of Hyde Park, New York, just about an hour north of the city, 8 points, 8 rebounds. He's got 21 blocks on the season. That is your starting lineup for Tommy Lloyd for this regional final. Again, the 12th all-time meeting between Duke and Arizona. The program split the home-and-home series. Arizona won in Durham last year. Duke won in Tucson this season. 3rd time they'll meet in the postseason. Arizona lost to the Blue Devils in the 2001 championship game. They beat the Duke Blue Devils in the regional finals in 2011.
Kyrie.
Yes, and they are slated to meet in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas coming up in November of 2027. All right, before we get out of here, the Arizona basketball program got some huge news earlier today.
Special shout out to my teammates. I know y'all boys out there watching right now. Shout out y'all boys.
Boys, champions.
Also, I'd like to give a special thanks to my trainers, Coach Kenny and Chuck, for the countless hours you spend in the gym. Also, I would like to give a thank to all the coaches that have recruited me throughout this process, but I can only pick one school. So with that being said, I'll be going to the University of Arizona.
Okay!
Bear down. That's Koa Pete earlier today on ESPN announcing that he is going to be an Arizona Wildcat. Fellas, a 4-time state champion with the Perry Pumas.
Kelvin, break his game down.
Man, you know what? He's a total team player. He's a guy that does all the dirty work, but can handle the ball, can get to the rim and finish. He plays, he's about 6'8", so he can play guard or forward. Got a little bit of Townsend in him, got a little bit of, who's the guy last year? But just a total athlete, man, a good defender, total team player. Not surprised at all he picked Arizona.
And crazy strong for his age, right?
Oh, man, his brothers are all football players.
Right. You could tell. You could tell.
Yeah, he comes from a football family for sure. He chose the Arizona Wildcats over ASU, Baylor, Houston, and Texas. So thank goodness we didn't lose him to one of those other 3 Big 12 teams.
You want to know how good Cole Pete is? All the Houston fans today are very sad. They thought that he fits their style real well.
I was hoping maybe we'll get him to play a little tight end like Tony Gonzalez.
Hey. Oh, there you go. There you go. I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm sure Brent Brennan wouldn't mind it either. So Koa Pete will be an Arizona Wildcat, 5-star prospect out of Phoenix, Arizona, and we played in the Under-17 World Cup last year where he averaged 18 points, shot 63% from the field to go along with 6 rebounds. This is a guy that can really play the game, and it's a great get for the Arizona Wildcats. All right, guys, real quick, final thoughts.
It's that time of year. This is what you come to Arizona for. Bear down.
There you go. Kelvin?
Yeah, big game, but big games bring out the brightest stars. Ready to see the guys step up and see who's going to be that next great Wildcat to lead us to the Elite Eight.
All right, it is the Arizona Wildcats and the Duke Blue Devils, the number 1 team in the country. It's coming up next here on Wildcats Radio 1290, and it's also going to be on 107.5 K-Hit. Don't forget, we'll be back with you after the ball game. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. There is Priscilla in the background as well, throwing up her Bears claws, bear down claws as well. Brian Jeffries, Ryan Hansen, coming up next with the call from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Bear down, Arizona.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues.
Thanks, brother.
This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Aaron Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto, professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Motoring around one day, Bob heard all about it on the radio. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras for one low price, including valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. Bob knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. As cliches would have it, just then Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 locations and without hesitation claimed his new set of tires, installed for one low price, thingies included.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
This is University of Arizona Wildcat Basketball. And this is the 2025 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. 39 tournament appearances, 4 Final Fours, 1 National Championship. An Arizona tradition for 120 years. Now, live from courtside, it's Wildcat Basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises.